So, last we left off, you guys had brought your prisoner back from the gunfight and interrogated him, and quickly came to the conclusion that this guy was not very smart and just was in the wrong place at the wrong time and made stupid decision. He was just smart enough to get the to know how to use the gun, but not be able to say the year correctly. He's not smart. But it's fine. And Damir cursed him and then murdered him, so it's all good. The point is, you now have access to guns. You also took the time to check in with Jason, Grace, and Nim, just to make sure that they're all okay. They were a little freaked out by the whole ordeal, but otherwise unharmed. From there, you discussed potential plans of what to do next and where to go. You have the masquerade ball coming up that you're hoping to acquire an invite to. You also have that temple to Mistra that you wish to investigate, the one near Uvila that had the magic chicken. But in the short term, you have decided that the best thing to do is to investigate the apparent secret child of the leader of the town. You decided to accomplish this by having Lish turn into a fly and fly into the house, eventually making his way into the child's room, wherein he found a very pale-skinned child with long dark hair, probably about 16 years old, just eating a raw rabbit. And it's at this point, Lish, I would love for you to make a stealth check to see if she notices you while she's eating.
Okie dokie. Let's see. That's a 20 on the die. Plus 7, so 27.
She does not seem to notice you. She continues to eat the rabbit, her kind of face and hands just covered in its blood. The door at this point is shut.
The door is shut.
Mm-hmm.
The person in the hallway is not observing her chow down.
Oh no. The servant lady went and put the meal in front of her door and then just fucking skedaddled. The girl took the platter inside, shut the door behind her, and is now eating the rabbit.
Okay. Well, she'll stay kind of by the door threshold and for a little bit while she's eating and just kind of watch. But okay, so what else does she have in her room? She's got a bed. She has a desk.
She's got a bed. She has lots of bookshelves. There seems to be a trunk of some sort at the foot of the bed, and there is a wardrobe.
Okay. Well, he'll just kind of, after a while of watching her, kind of just zzz around the bedroom and see if he can see anything interesting. and land over by the bookcase to look at the books.
All right. Is roll a perception or investigation check depending on how closely you're looking.
Mm-mm-mm. Do a perception. 6 on the die, and then a black fly has perception plus 10, so 16.
Okay. Um, there doesn't seem to be anything necessarily out of the ordinary here. They just seem to be books. You can see Ballad of the Homesick Wanderer, which is a collection of poems um, about traveling the different planes, and you can see let's see, you can see the Green Knight, which is about a goblin and his deeds. um, they seem to be mostly stories, mostly fiction.
A lot of adventure classics, it seems.
Yeah.
Hmm. I'll just observe for a little while. He's
Okay.
got a lot of time on his wild shape, so
Roll another perception check.
22.
22. Let me just send you a whisper. I assume you're watching this child at this point.
Whoa. Okay. I mean, yeah, feral child. Yeah, I mean, he'll watch her eat and then see kind of what she does
Okay.
when she kind of settles back in.
Once she's done eating, he puts all of the bones of the rabbit back onto the plate. Um, and she casts prestidigitation to clean up her hands and face.
Oh, okay. Did I see any like magic practice books on the shelf, or was it all fiction?
It was all fiction.
Ah, okay.
At this point, she returns to her bed and kind of just sits in the very center of it, crossing her legs under her, and her eyes have found you, and she's just kind of tracing your movement around the room. She's going very still.
Okay. I noticed this.
Oh, yeah.
I make my like greedy little fly hands. um, yeah, I'm just gonna kind of keep exploring the room a little bit and keeping an eye on her.
Okay.
I mean, even if she tries to eat me, it'll be a bad time for her. So, um, but I'm keeping an eye on her.
Okay. You're keeping an eye on her. You buzz around the room. She seems to be keeping her eye on you. And you notice just while you're in here, she has not blinked once this entire time.
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Cool, 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 cool. Can I just find a little spot up and out of the way to kind of just look her over again?
Okay. Um, you can go to toward one of the higher walls of the room, or you can
Is there like
be
a
a little
light
closer
fixture?
and get onto the four-poster bed that she's on.
Oh yeah, can I get the tip of the full poster?
Okay. Um, he casts minor illusion, so it looks like she has a little bit of honey on her hand, and she's still watching you.
Catch more flies with honey. Eh. This is just gonna watch.
Okay. She is watching you right back.
Yeah. We're gonna have a little standoff for a while. And he's not gonna care too much if she thinks it's unnatural that he doesn't move.
You get the impression that she does not particularly care if things seem unnatural or not.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, he'll just sit there for a while. He's like kind of like waiting for something to happen. He has no prerogative to reveal himself as of yet.
Okay. Let's see.
I
Yeah,
mean, I have 6 hours, so
she is content to kind of just sit there and watch you for a while.
yeah, no, he's definitely not going to get on that finger. He's very much like, this girl could eat something and it'll be a bad time for her jaw if I get chewed. She doesn't have a desk. She doesn't have any like papers or journals that we can see.
I mean, she's got a nightstand. Do you want to go into her nightstand?
Yeah. Can I fit in it?
Okay. I'll tell you what. Let's say that there's a slight crack in the drawer of the nightstand that you can wriggle your way into.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be super helpful to me unless the whatever she's gotten there is like already laying face open, but you know.
You see. Well, I'll tell you what. Roll an investigation check.
Investigation is what kind is investigation wisdom?
Investigation is intelligence.
Okay, intelligence. Hint. Yeah, it's not gonna do well. 4.
Or you see like scraps of paper. You see in a long dried inkwell and a quill that looks like it has been handled by a younger child, given the kind of
Mhm.
rough state it's in.
Fully fist gripped to write. Yeah, he'll like poke around in that drawer and see. So there's a quill. Are there any other trinkets?
Not in here that you notice.
Okay, well, he'll come out of there and he'll go over You said that there was a chest at the foot of her bed.
Yeah,
I'll
there's like
go
a
and
trunk.
kind of we'll go kind of see if there's any
Okay.
gaps in the wood of
As
that.
soon as you exit the thing, the nightstand, I'd like you to make an acrobatics check.
All right. Okay. Hold on one second. Before I do anything, the wild shape page closes and it's super fucking annoying. 18.
18. She catches you and she's just holding you in her hands, just like this. She's being careful not to crush you. She's just holding you.
All right. He'll just sort of buzz like a fly would.
All right.
But he'll settle down in her palm and just kind of wait.
Okay.
If he gets any sign of her eating him.
She seems to be moving around the room. She eventually shifts these so that you're just in one hand so that she can make use of her other. And let me make another dexterity check.
Okay. Nine.
Okay. So you hear that she seems to retrieve something from somewhere and is moving back. And very quickly, she puts you down on the nightstand and puts a old glass lamp over you.
Okay.
She kind of lays back down on the bed and just watches.
He just kind of sits there, watches her. He doesn't fly. In fact, I think he just kind of sits there stone still, watching her back. No movement, just for a little bit.
He still has not blinked this entire time.
His little fly face is offended.
So you are essentially under a cup being watched. What do you do?
Well, I mean, he'll just chill for a little bit. He has plenty of time in his wild shape, so he kind of just wants to see what she's gonna do, if anything.
Yeah.
And he's got backup in case she doesn't do anything.
All right. She seems to be content to watch you for a while.
I think he gets the sense that she doesn't see things very often that are new and unusual in this room.
After a while of watching, you've probably been in here for an hour and a half at this point.
Okay.
She stands from the bed and retrieves a book from the shelf and returns to the bed, lays back down in the same position, and starts to read while also keeping an eye on you. in the corner
One
of her.
eye, one eye on the book, the other eye crinked to the
Just
side
looking
of
at
her
you at
face.
the corner of her eye.
Uh-huh.
You've become her new pet.
Oh boy. Okay. So I'm gonna de-wild shape. I think that's the only thing that I can do right. Well, no, okay, I could wild shape again, I guess. But I do want to talk to her, maybe. Mm, she seems cool. I don't know. She seems like she could get on my level.
If it's been an hour, is Lish more than 120 feet away?
That depends. How close is the rest of the group to the fortress, the stone fortress?
Well, we would probably be wanting to avoid any sort of patrols.
Yeah, to that end, if we don't want to get caught trespassing or anything, we probably don't want to be inside the gates if there are any.
Well, we could be a ways out, and then after an hour, we could send someone closer to check.
Yeah,
Aren't you able to do your messaging while invisible?
Yeah,
She could also scry.
Yeah,
Talk scry.
that is true. I'm trying to decide if I want to scry or if I want to be invisible and get closer. You know what? I'm gonna roll. Gonna roll for it. Let's see.
Or I would probably
Oh.
be safer.
Vomit.
That was a 1.
Yep.
So Demir, after like an hour has passed and Lish is still not back, Demir was kind of like hanging out with the group wherever we were loitering, and she just disappears, like goes invisible. And I'm going to try and sneak as close to that tower as I can and cast message.
So there is the front gate surrounding the fortress, and then there's the fortress itself within. So probably closest you can get without having to roll to avoid guards would be the outer gate, but that should still put you within range for message.
Okay, then I will. Okay, sorry. Then I will go to the outer wall first.
Okay.
And message. Vervain, are you okay? Where are you?
Is there a limit of how many words I can respond with?
It just says
not
a
for
short
message.
Yeah.
You can reply to this message.
You can reply to this message.
All is well. I am under a lampshade. Probably going to reveal myself here shortly. I think it will be fine.
What? Why? Why are you under a lampshade?
Because I am a fly.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. What is the child? What does it look like in there?
She is magical, potentially undead or some other extraplanar creature. Black eyes, sharp teeth, pale skin. Nothing too unusual.
Okay, why do you think she's cursed then?
why wouldn't she be cursed if her parents are her parents and she is this? Something has gone quite wrong in their family blood. Otherwise,
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Are you
the
sure?
blended square ain't blending.
Yeah, okay, fair. Valid. Are you sure revealing yourself is a good idea?
There is no other way out from under the shade.
Okay. Do you need help?
No, not currently.
Okay. I'm outside the walls, invisible, so if you need anything.
Give it another hour. I should be out by then. Another hour.
Okay.
Patience, darling. I love you.
I love you too. And Demir's going to stand at the wall and just like repeatedly cast message so that if he needs to reach her, he can, but she's not going to say anything. She's just keeping the line open.
All right.
And Lish watching the girl is going to de-wild shape and kind of push the lamp. It probably,
Okay.
I don't know, it might shatter.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't know
once
shape.
you de-wild shape, it the glass lamp falls off and crashes to the floor, and she sits up and looks at you, bookmarks her book, and you can see now it's an older book called Linnorms of the North, very beautifully illustrated. And she just sits up, looks at you, crosses her legs again, tilts her head
Fucking
to the side.
love this kid.
Says, "You are interesting."
And Lish kind of momentarily puts his finger to his lips and just kind of like looks at the door and just kind of waits to see if anybody reacts to the crashing sound.
They will not come.
They won't.
No.
He's just gonna kind of watch her for a second and just be like, you are an interesting creature as well. Do you have a name?
I would ask you the same question. A fly in my room turning into a man.
I get the feeling that this is not something that happens to you very frequently.
Not with any real regularity, no.
Does it delight
see her
you?
smiling, and she has her sharp teeth.
Yeah.
Still a little bit stained from the blood of the rabbit.
He kind of quirks a smile at her and is like, does that entertain you?
Like entertaining things. They're funny.
I've come here because I was curious about who you were. I have met your parents, you see.
You can call me Lady Octavia. And she kind of holds her hand out to you.
He'll come over and he'll take her hand and give it a little smooch to, be polite.
What shall I call you?
I'm known as Lish here. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you as well. What brings you to my chamber?
We were concerned.
Wait,
Yes. And he kind of gestures to his hair and pulls the pixie down.
which one do you pull out?
I'll pull out Vettel. So a little flower in his hand that peers at his eyes.
Bettles does seem nervous about
Yeah.
this child, but she seems interested and she smiles and she reaches her hand out to hold her palm flat to try to encourage Vettel to climb onto her palm. Vettel
He'll let
kind
it
of
be.
looks at you like, I am so sure about this.
We'll let Vettel make that choice. He's not gonna.
Okay.
He won't move his hand at all. So if Vettel wants to
feeling
back.
today, Vettel. Vettel kind of very nervously goes over and lands on her hand. She brings him close and looking at him. She reaches her other hand and cast prestidigitation, makes little sparks kind of fly over him.
My people are very, very interested in the safety of children. Are you safe?
This room is safe. That's what I've been told.
Your room is locked from the inside.
Yeah.
So I presume you are keeping yourself safe.
In a way. And I'll tell you what, why don't you roll an insight check?
Okay. That's an 18.
18. You can tell that she has been informed of possibly a number of reasons why she should not leave this room. And so she genuinely believes that it is safest in here.
Lish will kind of sit down on the bed in front of her feet, and he'll pull the other pixies out of his hair and just kind of show them to her. And if they want to go and say hello to her, they can.
Bright Mellow is frightened of her. It just goes right back into your hair.
That's fine.
Bree will go and investigate, though.
brave little guy. He's all spikes, so what have they said to you, your parents, about what you are? Do you even know?
I know that I was born different and hungry, and it was decided that for the best. If I stay here, people may not be as kind about my refined taste.
Oh God, if Hannibal Lecter was a girl. No. Lish will just nod. But they don't know how you got to be this way. Merely born different seems a little odd.
I was born with the knowledge of the void and shadow.
And what do you know of those things? He's like, he looks at her a little bit like, "Aw, cute."
He begins to speak, and I'd like you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. 19.
19. Okay. So she is speaking this strange sort of guttural language that you do not know, you do not recognize. And then she can kind of see that and laughs and switches back to common.
Kind of quirks a brow at her.
Read many others.
Very interesting. Have your parents played with the void much? Made deals with demons?
No, they are cowards.
He kind of laughs. He's like, yes, I can see that much. I'm surprised you don't have at least free reign of this home, but it seems like they might be a little bit too scared that you would find them without them realizing it.
That is quite possible. When I was younger, I once ate one of the servants.
Lish kind of just nods. I assume that you weren't left to wander around very much after that.
Mm-hmm. Why would I? I have everything I need in here.
A rabbit a day. I suppose that could be considered
Sometimes
everything.
rabbit, sometimes chicken, sometimes on special occasions deer, sometimes voles or ferrets. Whatever father's hunters can find.
They never bring you the hunters themselves.
Father thinks that hunters going missing in such a way will draw suspicion.
Well, he's not incorrect.
Tell me, how do you find yourself in here? You say you're concerned. I know that you're a fly. Was it just a whim to break in here?
Oh, I assure you it was much debated.
You and your friends, and she gestures at the pixies that are looking at her but trying to give her space.
Lish kind of takes back Vettel, who seems to be a little shaky, and is like, oh yes, they thought that I should just write a letter.
Letter. You have
A
one.
simple pen
She
pal.
reaches her hand out, offering her flat palm again. Her fingers are very long and kind of spindly.
He'll take out his little like check yes or no if you're trapped note and give it to her.
She takes it and opens it, ripping it with a flourish, and kind of shakes open the page and laughs and puts it back on the bed. And steeples her hands and says, "So, what is your answer to this? Do you think I am trapped? Or am I merely here for my protection or the protection of others?"
I think you are being kept. Though I think that if you wished to leave, you certainly could. Am I wrong in believing that?
They probably could not stop me from leaving if I so chose. But if you say I'm being kept, are you to be my knight in shining armor, helping
Mm,
me escape?
is that what you wish? You wish to leave? You wish to escape, as it were?
I find myself uncertain. Can one really crave the light of the sun or the moon if you've never experienced it before?
That is fair.
If you are not to be my knight in shining armor, are you looking instead to make a deal?
A deal? What kind of deal?
I do something for you, you do something for me. There's simply no other reason as to why you would come in here other than mere curiosity.
No, I assure you, is the deepest concern with which I came. I do not think that we need to make any kind of deal. If you feel that you are safe and secure here, I do not see any reason why I must draw you away. Do you feel that your parents mistreat you in doing this?
I feel like you're here because you want.
There are
You
many things.
feel that perhaps you've been wronged by those who dwell within the fortress here. Am I incorrect?
Certainly, there are those who have done me wrong.
Well, in that case, what do you plan to do about it? I find myself most intrigued, and it could be fun.
I am not. There are ill-begotten deals made in this house. Perhaps some made by your father, and some being made potentially, hopefully, by you. I cannot, unfortunately, wish ill on your family. Not now, at least. You see, there was a contract made. It might bring wrath down upon people outside of these walls. However, there might be something you could do for me, and I would be interested in seeing what you would like in return. What is it you would like in return for a favor?
What is this favor you have in mind?
Your father has a sword, a very, very nice sword, that while given to him in contract for goods and services, I think we both understand your father's way of negotiating things is not perhaps the most honest. I would love to see that sword returned to its proper owner. It is likely in this house still, though I cannot guarantee it.
And you wished for me to retrieve this weapon.
If you're able to, without your father finding out any of the particulars.
Easily.
I don't think you'd be able to miss it. It is quite iconic.
I think that sounds like payment enough watching him squirm. It'll be funny.
I think that your father is due for plenty of discomfort.
I would quite agree. And to whom shall I bring this sword? Or where shall I leave it?
Well, if you wanted to leave the house, just temporarily, you could bury it outside of one of the big trees on the property. And just leave a marking as to which one you have done that to. Something easily seen from outside the grounds.
You do not wish me to meet this companion of yours?
I would need to inquire with them as far as if they would like to meet you, if they would like their identity to be made known. I do not think that they would disagree, but I cannot speak for them.
I have heard the servant speak. And my father mentioned a tree close to the edge of town. It is twisted and old, and its roots grow deep. I can leave the sword there once it is retrieved.
Sounds superb. And you're certain you would like nothing more in return?
What are you offering?
Perhaps a vision of another place. Some place that you might not find in this lifetime. Or other.
Perhaps if I were to leave the sword and not return, not to return to the room, observe from a distance. If my father discovers that has gone missing, that would be agreeable.
I certainly would not be telling him where you are. I can give you a token if you ever wish to seek me out.
That would be agreeable.
I do not know if I would be able to fulfill every favor you might ask, but I would certainly allow you to entreat me upon rediscovering me.
That seems more than fair.
And Lisha's gonna go through his bag and see what he can give her. Let's see what I got. I give her a bunch of weed. Oh god, it would be very funny if he's like emptying out his bag of holding and he like sets an archmage's head down on the ground just to like make room to see.
Oh my god.
I have the two archmage heads in here still.
Oh God, right?
Maybe we shouldn't give the cannibal munchies. Just saying.
Hey,
Yeah, we need
are
those heads. She
greedy.
can have them.
She deserves the protein that her body needs.
I just have the mental image of Commander Stone walking in here like, daughter, who is your dealer?
My daughter turns into a teenager and somehow she magically finds weed. I don't understand.
As far as I know, she hasn't even left the house. How could this be?
It comes free with your puberty.
I have a bag of blue pseudo dragon scales. I will take one of the pseudo dragon scales out from that bag and I will give it to her.
She very carefully takes it in her hands and looks it over. I shall leave the sword the tree in 3 days' time, unless you get into contact with me and tell me otherwise. I assume you need to be let out to lift the flag.
I can make my own way, but I do appreciate your offer. I will look for any sign from you. Otherwise, it was wonderful to meet you. And he holds his hand out for her to give him her hand again. Gives her a little kiss.
Mhm.
And he'll stand and kind of brush himself off. And he will bow. And he is going to face step out of the room and outside.
All right.
And immediately wild shape into a bird.
Cool.
And scene.
All right. So the rest of you were lurking more or less close to the fortress. Lish, what kind of bird do you turn into?
A robin.
All right. Anyone who wants to can make a perception check to try to spot Lish the bird.
Alk is paying attention to other things. Like guards.
Tobias rolled a 19.
Demir rolled a 18.
All right,
So there's
yeah.
Probably 4 stunning.
You guys spot Lish without any problem.
Yeah, I rolled a 24.
Oh yeah. Aaron spots him first.
Wild Rose's bird watching club.
Yes.
Everybody's got their big old binoculars up.
Aaron will, poke everyone and indicate him.
He'll come and land, and he's specifically looking for Demir because he knows she probably had to get close to message him, so he's just making sure. Can he sense her? Is she within 100 feet?
Yeah, I mean, Demir, I would assume you're close to the rest of the party.
I mean, she went off as close as she could get to the tower so that she could message him. But when she sees like the little robin flying off and recognizes that as her husband, she'll make her way back to the group.
Okay.
All right.
So he'll just kind of grin a little and look at everybody like, what? You all look nervous.
You were gone for a while. Is everything all right?
It is more than all right, in fact. He kind of looks to Volk. I am going to get your sword back, well, indirectly.
Thank you. Wait. Am I allowed to do that?
To get your sword back.
No, thank you.
Well, you have already. There's no taking it back now.
It's probably fine. It's not like you'd actually owe him or anything, right?
Right. So astute, Sota.
Listen, I have done a little research on the Fae, and you don't quite seem like one.
May I inquire as to which books you have been reading? I really need to make sure that I'm distributing those ones specifically to all of mortal kind. Because apparently they're the bad ones.
When Soda says like he does not seem like a Fae dealer or whatever, Demir absolutely like still invisible, just
Lish honestly is looking at Zoda with both entertainment and also as if he can't be sure if he's been insulted or not. He's like, yeah.
Listen. There's so many elves with Fae ancestry. That doesn't mean you are one, right?
Yes, Zota, that is an accurate assessment. There are many elves with Fey blood in the world, and I certainly could be one of them. Anyways,
You guys are being a little weird about this, but okay. So how exactly are you getting her sword back?
I am curious about that.
Yeah, because like last I checked, we weren't breaking into the place.
well, I've already broken into the place, and our friend that I went
mean-
to meet.
Uh,
We should walk and talk. We should not perhaps be seen so close to the household.
Good point. Let's
and-
start walking back towards the. Yeah.
Our friend in the palace is going, well, it's not a palace, is it? A friend in the manor is going to acquire the sword back from us. And I found her to be quite amiable. She may, in
So-
fact, leave home permanently and go on some adventures herself.
So she isn't locked in.
No, her family has convinced her that it is better for the world and herself to stay inside.
Ooh boy, Valk would not like that. But I need a moment to think how she would respond.
I think that it is for the best that she is going to, well, take much enjoyment out of getting your sword back, Volk. I think the child taking her life into her own hands is for the best in this case. And her parents can sweat over where she has gone. They cannot stop her, you understand.
So she has been convinced to stay, but you gave her the option to leave.
By her parents telling her throughout her life that she shouldn't, couldn't, wouldn't be accepted. Yes, I have not convinced her to leave. She has made that choice herself, and I have said it is her choice. I'm not going to stop her. And we get your sword back in the meantime.
So strikes me as a little weird. Why would they do that in the first place?
Humans do not understand creatures that are not of their ilk.
Valk is very much puffing up during this conversation.
Yeah, Volk is like, ooh, this hits home. Uh-oh.
Yeah. I suppose getting my sword back will have to be sufficient revenge against Commander Stone for now.
I think, Lish says with a little bit of relish in his voice, that their daughter that they have hidden shamefacedly from the world being loose in the world and the anxiety that is caused therein will be a fine torment.
I will have to take your word on that.
We can always check in with them at the ball. See how their nerves are handling things, and if we do not feel sufficiently.
Drop a hint about their kid. See how they
Yes,
squirm.
at
Well,
minimum.
I want to go to that ball now. Valk has motivation.
And who knows, we may come across her again. I have given her a token for which to find me if she ever seeks assistance. So,
Well, I trust that you have enacted the right thing, and I appreciate your effort in helping this child.
we will have to find the big knotted tree at the edge of town. Yeah, but was it at the edge of town, she said? Big knotted tree?
Yes.
The edge of town in 3 days hence. And we will recover your sword. If your sword is not there, then I trust her to make good on her deal, but nothing was exchanged of significance if it is not there. So you can always burn their manor down if we need to, or something. I don't.
Well, that seems a little extreme, but
Yes, which is why I don't think that it will matter. I think that the sword will be there. I have faith.
What
I
did you
think
offer
that's gonna
her
be
in?
good.
What did you offer her in return for the sword?
That's a reasonable question considering how much shit you've given us for making deals.
She made her own terms. She said that it would be more than fair for her to get her kicks, frightening her father and taking his belongings in exchange. My offer, basically, was giving her permission to do what she's wanted to do.
Fair enough.
Convenient that's gonna be dropped by a tree, by the way. If you can find it now or soon, then you could always come back and grab it.
Yeah, we should probably pre-find that tree.
Yes. There's plenty of time left in the day, right? We did this at the early morning, so it's probably like afternoon now. So we can go on a
More or
walk.
less, yeah.
Anybody need anything in town? We can tromp around.
I think I'm good. I'll probably ask around and see if people could give us some more direct directions towards that tree and just speed our search along.
Do we want to leave a paper trail, as it were, by asking people?
About the tree? No, I think we can find it on our own. And if we
And we-
cannot, then we should ask your father or mother. They would know.
Also, aren't you able to talk to animals? We could ask the locals who aren't of human ilk.
Yes, I do not think it will be that difficult to find.
We
such a
could
tree.
ask the beaver.
We could ask the lake nymphs. Anything is possible.
I think the beaver can speak normally to people.
You heard him give a speech at the wedding. He introduced himself as Ricky. He said that he's a good friend of Jason's. They work together on the same boat, you know.
Yeah, the beaver is fully capable of speech. If we're trying to avoid speaking to something that can speak to other people, I don't think the beaver is the option.
It was attempting humor, guys. You didn't need to rip my joke a new one.
Yeah, we did.
Made it even funnier. Anyways. Yeah.
So circumnavigating the town, how long does it take us to find the tree?
Oh, investigation check.
Oh no.
Can I help?
Can someone
I
who
was gonna say,
actually
with advantage, people will help. Y'all are looking together.
well, here goes nothing. I think that's a 9.
What are we rolling again?
Investigation.
Okay,
Oh
thank
no,
you.
that's an 8. I don't have any ads on this shit.
That is 24.
With Zoda's help, you're able to find a little ways out of town, like this old, very dead tree. It doesn't have any bark anymore. Excuse me. Doesn't have any bark anymore. And it's just kind of old and twisted and it's got kind of like broad branches without any leaves. And it's very clear that people have tried to remove this tree before, but have been unable to because, as Octavia said, its roots go deep.
Well, that looks like a landmark.
It's beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Only
This
mildly
is-
creepy.
Yeah, Lisha's gonna definitely note it. And it seems like it would be big enough to travel through too in the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Does the tree have to be alive for that spell?
I believe so. It mostly just has to be big enough around. And I think that it should be alive, but I don't know if that's a part of the spell terminology exactly.
Yeah. Technically, they're supposed to be alive, but I will say for the purposes of this dead tree can work just fine.
It's a fucked up tree that has some weird magical property that makes it something.
It looks like the creepy trees from over the garden wall.
They know too much.
Does it have like a face and is dripping oil?
Not yet, it doesn't.
Wish
Try
like
and
I
try
can
to
fix
Trust
that.
this tree.
Yeah, I mean, he could try and spend some time bringing this tree back. But
No, I meant giving it a face.
oh,
We
that
can
does
turn
not
it into
work.
an ent.
Okay.
This would probably be like the rudest ent in the world if we did that.
That's the point.
Well, what next?
Well, it sounds like we need to remain in town for 3-ish days.
Not necessarily, since Lesh can just get back here, or anyone else can get back here with him. At basically, any time, as long as there's another tree, we could start moving to our next destination.
That is fair. Speaking of which, what was our next destination?
Well, I should probably get back to college at some point, but I can do that whenever. There's the.
We're
there's
waiting
the,
for goddamn, what's his name? The Earthwalker, the Plane Walker, the
Aldrichitis?
Aldrich is getting his people together.
Mm-hmm. You'll have to meet him back there as well. There's the ancient temple to Mistra that was reconstructing itself. We could check in on that.
I would like to go to Avatix at some point.
Isn't
that's
that
relative-
related to the ball?
Somewhat. I think in the capital is probably where we'll find a good deal of information about the mages of the Turning Spire. They are, after all, the neighboring political entity, and usually a capital city has those sorts of ties a lot more than an archive would.
I wouldn't be surprised if being a student at Avatic could get you some extended access too, if you don't already have it. Plus, Avotix is relatively close by compared to everywhere else we would go, so.
We also have a couple more days before we can ask the heads again.
Oh yeah.
Because it's been about a week since we were at the Turning Spire?
Yeah, they're about.
Got like a month of cooldown, right? Or is it shorter?
10 days.
10 days, okay. Oh, I way overshot that. Good. Well, Avotix, unless anyone else has any other plans. Might want to say goodbye to Valk's family first. Let them know we're leaving.
We also need to pick up the tower.
Yeah, we're not leaving immediately, but
Oh, okay.
that or the temple. Either way. I mean, mine is certainly more of a shot in the dark, and the temple, at least we know where it is.
It's still closer. I think it's worth a stop.
We could give the temple a couple days and then hit Avotix or vice versa.
I will note that I have a thing specifically for Levy at the temple, so it might be best to wait for Felix to be here before doing that.
Good point.
Hey guys, I'm getting divine inspiration. We should go to Avotix first.
I'm just saying.
No, that's totally fair.
No, that's a very good thing.
It's quite important to bring up.
Sometimes you just gotta nudge your players a little.
For the sake of other players, no less.
Hell, sometimes you just gotta do it for the sake of the plot. And as a previous DM, I am more than happy to accept the nudge.
All right. What was that about waiting for a tower? Because like I think I missed that, like, even out of character.
We know
to
it's
pick
go
up the-
pick up the tower, the fortress.
The
That we were
instant
camping at it.
fortress.
Could one person answer that question, please?
The instant fortress. We need that from,
Oh, right.
Ru-
We need to get that too, don't we?
yeah, Runa and Jason's place. Unless if we would just want to leave it there and they can have a outbuilding now.
No,
I mean, I think it's a little important to bring with us.
we are not giving your parents more things for free.
Yeah, we got them a boat
And a cake.
and a cake. So
Do they
group
have a way of contacting us if they need assistance? Valkyria.
Yeah, they'll make sure that is an option when we head out. I can just leave a feather or whatever, right? And that would work for sending or whatever.
I mean,
Like bring it,
Thank you.
you can
bring it
send
to-
to anyone as long as you have their description and ideally their name. They don't need anything for that. If you have an item of theirs, it makes it easier to scry on them.
I think I'll get that, and then I suppose we can leave contact of the Rose's Manor, and they can also use a local cleric if they're high enough level.
I was gonna say, like, if they need to get in touch with you specifically, they could also get in touch with Whistling Torrent just down the creek.
Also true. So, party. The vote is say goodbye to my parents and then head to Avitix. Correct?
Are there any objections to that idea?
Nope.
Okay.
Going once, going twice. Sold. Okay, let's go bug. Jason and Runa and Nim. We love Nim.
All right. So you head back to the little cabin. You can see that Jason's kind of going over the paperwork that you gave him about ownership to the boat. And he's discussing with Runa a bit who he would like to have on the boat with him as crew. But when you guys come in, they smile and they greet you both.
I see you're reading the contract that Stone wrote up. Is everything in order there? I'm not exactly versed at this.
Yeah, so it looks like it's all in order. Like, it's pretty typical contract for what you usually see in boats in the area. Thank you again for doing this. We were just discussing who we want to hire as crew.
Yeah, I wanted to give you guys the best possible advantage for your continued life together.
Well, I appreciate that greatly, and Runa kind of reaches over and pats your shoulder and says, you are just so sweet.
Well, you've earned it, and Val kind of does a little half quick head bow thing.
So what's the plan for you all? Are you intending to stay for a while longer?
We have some business that we need to deal with in Avitix.
Oh.
But we'll be we have a little bit of unfinished business in town that we'll be back for in a few days.
Oh, okay. Well, you are, of course, always welcome here to join us for food and or just to visit.
I really appreciate that.
Our home is your home.
Feelings. I'm happy for my bird girl. Are we wanting to head out this evening, or are we waiting until the morning? I don't think we decided that yet.
I mean, we may as well wait until the morning so that we're not doing the equivalent of a night drive cross country. Even if we are on Owlback.
Well, no, we just teleport to Avitix.
Oh, true.
Doesn't Lish know a tree there?
Yeah,
Pretty sure I think you
keeping
guys
track of
visited various gardens.
On that point, it might actually be a better idea to go soon, because that way Lish will have his spell slots refreshed rather, the following evening. So if we want to head out the day after, we can. I don't know how expensive of a thing it is anyway.
And it won't take long to find a hotel, an inn on the other end.
Yeah.
So yeah, Val relays to the parents that will be heading out before the end of the day, but we'll be seeing you again in a couple days.
All right. Is
And I
there
want to
any-
make sure to say goodbye to Nim.
Nim is Nim is actually kind of like exploring your fortress. He's not inside, but he's like been kind of circling the perimeter. Then he sits in the grass nearby and starts drawing it.
Hey, buddy. We'll be taking the fortress with us here in a little bit. You know, talking and signing as Valk has been doing with them. We'll be taking it with us here in a little bit, but I'll be back in a couple days to say hey.
He kind of looks a little disappointed that you're going to be leaving, but he nods. And he actually says out loud, in very quiet voice, "Come back soon."
I promise to, my liege. And Valk does like a full fucking bow for him.
He kind of laughs and hides his face.
Valk says, "I love you," and kind of gives him a little pat on the shoulder.
He gives you an awkward kind of pat back. You were very tall.
True, but I'm also not going in on a hug for the fellow Tism. Tism to Tism communication, go.
All right. Any final things to accomplish before you disappear? No? All right. Lish, did you happen to write down what tree you're going to go for?
Avatix is where the archive is, correct?
No, archive is in Opius.
I had them mixed up in my mind.
There were gardens though there, weren't there?
Yes. Let's see.
I believe there was a big tree or two in the gardens that I
Well, let's see. Sector. Yes, the Erudite sector has lots of gardens and chapels.
Yeah.
That Sniv broke into and made poison out of.
Yeah, I would have picked one of those.
Okay. So there's the greenhouses themselves, or the Daughter of Soon Memorial Trail, which is more public.
Yeah, not that one. I don't think he's been to the Daughter of Soon Memorial Trail. That's in the gardens?
It is a garden. It's a small winding path where different flowers bloom all year long. And there's a statue of Soon at the end, but there are a couple of willow trees along the route.
And what was the other one?
That would be the greenhouses, which is a private area, and it's tended to and experimented on by arcane botanists.
Yeah, I think he might have. Well, those aren't as natural. I guess he would go with the willows.
Okay.
Particularly fat willow.
All right. So you step through the creepy tree in the era and step out along the memorial trail. The flowers are beautiful here. It does seem a little unseasonably warm, but it's nice.
Wasn't it a snowy day back where we were?
Mm-hmm.
It had like the first ice fall.
More like the 5th ice fall that month.
This time of year, it's like late spring, early summer.
There's also time distortion.
But here in Avtix, it seems more summery.
Walking from like something a little icy and cold into like a midsummer day is probably a little disorienting.
But the day is
Thank you.
yours.
So, Demir, what exactly did you want to do over here?
Well, several things. First of all, I think that this is probably a good place to start asking about the Turning Spire, given that they are neighboring kingdoms. People will know things, even if it's on a more trading position sort of deal. And I think that if we are to try and get invitations to the party hosted here, we should probably look into finding a way to arrange for costumes to be made here. And there was that temple that completely disappeared here.
That was Opius.
Oh, that wasn't Opius? Oh, shoot. Okay, never mind.
Oh, good.
And I think that the capital city is probably the best place to do any shopping if we need.
Okay.
Well, I'm
Um,
broke because a mean man took all my money in a bad trade deal.
That is not my responsibility.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
sure
just-
someone here has gold to spare. You've definitely spared a lot for me.
I'm just saying I'll probably be part of the information gathering team instead of the shopping team.
Sure, we can buddy up. I was thinking of doing that first anyway, since that's sort of what I'm good at.
Nerd.
So, would you like a refresher on what actually is in Avtix?
It has
Yes.
been a couple months.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
go
and
for-
sorry, I believe, Aaron, you have a sword here to pick up, or an axe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do.
Which,
The
by
guy-
the way, you do owe me for the down payment on.
Oh, yeah. And he'll pull out his coin purse. How much?
I don't remember, but Demir would, and I didn't write it down. Do you happen to have it written down, Avery?
let me look for it.
Okay.
Marked down Lish's satyr debts with such enthusiasm.
Yeah, well, my document has grown since then, so I have to actually look for it now. I will have you know that this singular document, where I have at least the outline of information for the cities, is 72 pages.
Oh my god.
So let me see if I can fucking find it.
I think it was somewhere around 500 gold.
Yeah,
I believe so.
it was right before we encountered the yellow dragon. So if that helps identify.
Yeah, it was.
I'm checking Toby's master notes.
I believe it.
Toby's notes did not have it. I checked there already.
Oh,
believe
never mind.
he-
I zoned out. Sorry.
Yeah, it
was-
wasn't pertinent to my own stuff, so
Yeah, nope.
300 gold pieces for it to be cold iron, and it was a long sword, I believe.
Yeah.
So let's call it 315. And if you're doing half of that up front, half up front is 157 gold pieces and 1 silver piece. Or, sorry, 5 silver pieces. Math.
All right.
Just call it that because I'm tired of scrolling.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah, Aaron will Aaron, I'll toss Demir a solid 200. And say with interest.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Do you want to go get your sword and do some shopping?
His eyes light up. Oh boy, do I.
Demir offers her arm to him.
Take it and he'll start skipping.
So Demir and Siren are off to see the wonderful Wizard of Avitix. As promised, I will provide the description of the city again. Once again, the most obvious thing about the city is the Colossus of Avitix, which is the giant stone statue that is standing in the middle of it. It's gargantuan for the sake of things. It was allegedly created by the ancient elves of Island, and legend says that it will awaken to protect Avitix in its greatest time of need. But a lot of people don't think that's true because it's never woken up before. It's just an old statue with a magical aura as residue from its creation. The city itself is vaguely pentagonal in shape with high walls. Outside of the walls of the city, there's like more of a ramshackle area where you had found Eshelma before, and her daughter, and Peak. You assume that Eshelma might have moved on by this point. From the most western part of the city is called the Bauble sector, which has the Skyport and a few different shops. That is where all the rage is, which is the blacksmithy. There are also various other shops there, such as Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes, which is a tailor, the cartographer's quill, Mountaineer's Destination, Through the Looking Glass, Goldie's Walks, and Ooks, which you guys have visited before. There's also Rats, Bats, and Vats, which is an alchemical and spell component shop. Golthrick's Curiosity Shop. Kabooms and Corpses. And let's see, Mare Dragon Family Goods. And then the Dapper Drake, which is a which is a 3-story tavern that you had been to before with the alehouse Drake. In addition, in this section, there's the Temple to Joaquin. The eastern section of Avitix is the Hearth sector, which mostly is a residential area for working class folk, and a handful full of impoverished neighborhoods closer to the outer wall. With houses getting more expensive the closer you get to the center of the city. There are a handful of shops, but if you were to try to look for something more unique or something a little more specialized, you would probably want to look in the Bauble sector. But otherwise, there's the Wild Cloak Cookery, the Rolling Pin, the Green Hill Graveyard, a tattoo parlor called Just an Inkling, and the Roasting Duck, which is another tavern where there's a contest for roasting people. You get up on stage and start making fun of people around you, and best roaster every night wins 30 gold pieces. You are currently in the Erudite sector, which is a beautiful district of gardens, chapels, and a couple of buildings for storage of political documents. Beautiful towers in ancient Ionian style stretch to the sky across a cityscape of centuries-old halls of learning and acolyte or student boarding houses. It's an artistic and spiritual center, and it has the General Services Administrative Office. Peace and Quiet, which is the quietest tavern/library you've ever seen. There's, of course, the Daughter of Soon Memorial Trail, where you find yourself now. The greenhouses, temple to Miliel, and a temple to Saloon. The southern section of the city is the military sector, which has the capacity to house and train a vast number of soldiers, a couple prisons as well, and tightly locked barracks and instructional facilities for the military. This sector includes the arena, the archery range, Arjan's oddities, animals for companionship and magic, the armory, and a tavern called Gladiator's Rest. Then, in the very center of the city, is the diamond sector, which is right between the feet of the Colossus. It's where the noble houses and political leaders of the city live. And that is where the Luminescent Citadel is located, among other things, but you've not been there, so you've not had a chance to explore. And go!
All right. So Valkyria and Zoda teamed up for investigation, right? Unless Lars has other ideas, no?
No, I'm down for being part of the investigatory team.
Alright.
I also was remembering that the arena was here. While Valk doesn't have any cash of her own to enter, she could bum some off of someone and then pay it back when she wins.
True. I think going off of Demir's suggestion, or was it Avery's suggestion? No, Demir's, definitely. She's going to start investigating in the trading district, Baubles district, for word on the turning spire, and sort of just not island. Is it island? The name of the West Eastern Kingdom. I should not be forgetting this.
Island.
It is island. Okay. Why didn't I think it wasn't? Anyway, sort of just like general information, perhaps even gossip on Island and the Turning Spire. Just probably not expecting much from there.
All right. Roll an investigation check, and if someone is helping you, you can have advantage.
Well, I suppose I'd be helping, but how effectively is the question?
Tobias can help with investigating stuff as well, since he doesn't really need a shop for anything.
So, do you want advantage or should I have it?
Aren't you broken for investigation?
Well, yes.
Modifier
but,
for investigation.
It is a 15. It got higher.
Then go for it.
Alrighty, thank you. This is what she does. Well, okay. That is a 34.
34. All right. So you are directed towards a couple of places that might have information for you. The Cartographer's Quill is a map shop. She might be able to provide more information about sort of the geography of the land, and might know a little bit of history as well. Otherwise, you are told that maybe the Syria Skyport has some information for you.
Okay. Do we want to investigate those in order, or do you want to split up?
I think splitting the party in half is enough splitting up.
True.
And Valk is here as muscle. Let's be honest.
Listen, we appreciate her presence regardless. Let's do the Skyport first. I think that's more relevant because we could sort of infer what happened to geography, but we can get confirmation from the map shop after. Probably look at some older maps as well. I'd be surprised if they don't have some lying around. So yeah, let's go pull around the Skyport.
All right. So let me see who's in charge today.
Rotating manager is fun.
And people have to have breaks. They have a good union.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you climb up towards the Syria Skyport. And I'll tell you what, Zoda, why don't you roll a history check?
All right. That is a 17.
17. You have never been on a sky ship yourself. However, you do know that this skyport is probably named for the inventor of the sky ship. Her name was Syria Nyren. But you arrive, and it's a very beautiful space. The floor itself is tiled and sort of glassy. It shines, and you can see the reflection of the people kind of bustling about. There's a few ships that are docked here at the moment. And the roof is sort of domed, and it's open, of course, on the side. But it's also glass so that you can see the sky above. And in the very center of the room, there is, for lack of a better descriptor, something of a kiosk for information, and a large clock hanging above it. You can see, standing at this desk is a tiefling woman with kind of burgundy red skin and long black hair tied back into a braid. And the ships that you can see that are currently docked, there's a smaller one that is called the Songbird. But then the other three are larger. There is one called the Storm Witch, one called the Dreamer, and one called Akkadi's Grace.
Wow. Good ship names. Love those.
The Storm Witch and Akkadi's Grace both seem to be larger, but the Dreamer is fairly decently sized as well.
Right. Well, we came here for information about Island and the Turning Spire, so I guess the only person around that we really can slash should, unless there's like people sort of like busily going from place to place in the terminal. Probably just gonna
There
go.
are various workers moving around. You can see some people unloading things from Akadi's grace, and you can see people taking things onto the Dreamer. And then you can see outside of the Storm Witch, there is a human man with fair skin and brown hair. He seems to be wearing sort of a theatrical costume, arguing with an Aarakocra. And you can hear him saying, "You don't understand. I just had my ticket. I put it in my Visa Very pants right here. You have to let me on. The rest of my troop is already on board."
I'm curious, but I don't think Zoda's gonna touch that conversation with a 10-foot pole. One of you could definitely drag her over though, but her mind is currently set on sort of approaching. You said it was a tiefling who's working this shift, managing. She's probably gonna approach her and go like, "Hey, I'm just looking around for some information about Island, preferably the Turning Spire, but I don't imagine you guys really stop by there very often. Just anything you've heard, anything you know."
Well, not these days, I'm afraid. But I know that we used to have ships that went there, but it's been quite a while.
Is anyone on payroll, or just that's sort of drifted by? Have they been to Island recently?
No one goes to Island recently. It's sort of fallen apart, to be honest with you.
Really?
Well, that's what I've heard anyway. Like apparently the leadership in Turn Spire they've just gone quiet. And the rest of the cities have been trying to govern themselves. But if you're looking to book passage to another country, the Dreamer is going pretty soon. Not going to Island, but they're taking passengers still. If you're looking to have a vacation.
Oh no, I'm technically on vacation already, actually, but we just got
in
here.
that case, welcome to Avatix. Did you need a brochure for some of the various sightseeing you can do, or?
You know what? I think I will take one.
All right. She reaches under the desk and passes you. Like, it's very basic. It's got like a very, frankly, kind of cartoonish map of the city with outlining the different sections.
Love it.
And then there's like the little lines going out. It's like, here's where you can find the arena, and here is where you can find this, and here's where you can find this chapel, and very, very basic, but she hands it to you.
Honestly, probably pretty helpful considering this is probably the most advanced city, or complex city rather, that you've created for this continent.
It's certainly the biggest.
Oh yeah. Okay, thanks. Have a nice day. We'll probably just look around for a little longer.
All right.
Do Velk and Toby want to look around the airship terminal for anything, or perhaps engage with this wandering dramaturge?
I think Tobias is good because it sounds like we've basically gotten what we can from this place.
Are you guys interested in knowing where the different ships are going?
Sure. Is there terminal information anywhere?
I can just give this to you for free. Pretty easy to find out. The Songbird is the smallest ship. That one's going to Dordrani, which is still part of this country, so it's just going a little south. Stormwitch, with the Karen arguing outside, is Everin, which is one of the tri-continents to the east. The Dreamer is going to Marhaba, and Akkadi's Grace is going to Alperin.
Hey, Demir, want to catch a flight?
Catch a flight home. Bye.
Just the face.
You guys are going to abandon me sooner or later, so I'm going to abandon you first. See ya. All right.
It's not out of character for her.
It is not out of character. That's why I made the joke. Later, bitches. All right. So Mackenzie's definitely right here. I think we've gotten the most information we can out of this. So let's go over to the map place next, unless you want to take a break from investigation and cut over to what y'all are doing.
It's up to you guys.
The map thing's probably not going to take very long. Let's do that first, and then I can stop taking up all the recording bandwidth. So yeah, mapwards we go.
All right. So the map place is called, as I said, the Cartographer's Quill. It is run by a human woman named Fimenda Maz, who creates and sells maps for different areas around the world, from huge continental ones to small ones of certain areas.
Cool. Yeah, Zoda's absolutely going to inquire about maps of Island.
Would you like to buy one?
She'll buy the most recent copy.
Okay. Most recent copy shows the Turning Spire as you know it, with where it is more of an island.
I should probably ask, actually, how much is a copy?
Let me double check. I'm looking it up now. Taking forever to load. One gold piece.
Oh, good. She can't afford that. Okay, I'll mark down 1 gold. She'll give this to the party once we all meet up again, but...
All right.
And the brochure. So yeah, most recent map of Island. She's also gonna ask if she? Is it a... Yeah. She's also gonna ask if she has any historic maps of Island to sort of compare. So we're saying like, oh, we were over there recently, and I was just kind of curious about the geography. Seems to have changed quite a bit.
Are you looking for like more historical ancient island maps, or are you looking for something within the last few years? Because our borders have not changed much with them.
I'm
the
mostly
last couple of
curious.
centuries.
I'm mostly curious about like maybe the past century or two, maybe a little further back.
I have some maps of what it looks like around the time of Thea's creation. Would that be something you're interested in?
Oh yeah, that's perfect actually.
So she, Navelli's creation. She pulls out some old maps. And there are a few of them. They're kind of outlining what it looked like during the humans gaining more of a foothold. So historically, Island took up most of the continent, with a couple of human settlements around Izira and Dordrani. But then, of course, given the discrepancies between human and elvish lifelines and how long each of them live and how each of them may reproduce. You know historically that the human population started getting too big for the area that they were confined to, and started to slowly take over more of the elvish land, and that led to a large war led by, let me just double check her name. I know her surname. I don't remember her first name. I have too many documents for my own good. God
If
damn
you
it.
remember the last name, if she's like a general, you could just say like General Smith or whatever.
She ended up becoming Queen Bane. It's her bloodline that currently rules Mavelli. She let's see. It's bothering me. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I get it.
I'll find it later. But anyway, she was a half elf who fought on the side of the humans, and she helped organize the humans and lead them to war against Eileen. And eventually, the elves were pushed to the eastern coast of the continent of Saya, and humans mostly took over and created their own country of Mavelli, which is why so many of the older buildings of this country are more elvish in design, including the Colossus, which stands right in the middle of Avatar.
Right. So I'm really curious about one thing in particular, and she's gonna like point this out on the old map as well. Is there like anything different about the sort of peninsula the Turning Spire was built on this older map?
In the older map, it is a peninsula, and when you point it out to the woman, she kind of blinks and looks confused, and like something is preventing her from really comprehending it fully. Like she's looking at it but not really seeing it. She's blinking and she's kind of confused, and like
she'll bring up the most recent map as well, and that's got it like sort of islanded, right? Or is it still okay? I'm doing a bit of a personal research project, let's say, about the Turning Spire and its surroundings. Do you have any idea or any maps of like maybe when this started going under? I'm just trying to pin down like a date.
Don't recall. It's always been an island. And like you can clearly see this is hurting her head.
Maybe don't think about it too much, I guess. Never mind. Thank you for the history lesson, though. That was very informative.
Of course. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, I think I've got things well in hand. Thanks for the map. It's very helpful.
Of course. And you can see that she's kind of snapped out of it. Come back anytime now.
Of course. And that's after she walks out with Toby and Bullock, she's just sort of like, you guys noticed that, right?
There is a discrepancy.
And not just with the maps.
Not the first time we've run into it.
It does at least confirm things we already knew. I don't think we're going to find much new knowledge, unfortunately, but there's one more place I think is worth checking. I'm She's gonna swing by the library tavern next, but I think we should let other people have. I think I should stop doing this for now and let
Alright.
other people have some spotlight. We'll go to the tavern later.
What's everyone else doing?
We're off to see the blacksmith, the wonderful blacksmith of Avitex.
Alright. So all the rage is actually fairly close to the cartographer's quill. It's owned and operated by a couple. There's Eliza Glass, who does the blacksmithing, who's a human woman, and her husband, Durok Glass, is half orc, enchants some of the items so that they're more powerful. And Erin, you had wanted to buy a cold iron longsword.
Yes.
So that is indeed ready by the time you arrive. It is very beautifully crafted. You can clearly see that Eliza spent a lot of time on it. It's got some like imprints on it for decoration, sort of like floral, but it doesn't impede it in any way. And you pass over the rest of the gold, I assume.
Yeah.
And you can now add a cold iron longsword to your inventory.
Hell yeah. You'll be like, my God, like this is gorgeous, like such fine craftsmanship. Over it and all that.
Is very appreciative of the compliments. And it's just a beautiful sword.
Samira is kind of looking at her hand axe and looking at the sword and looking at her hand axe and just kind of subtly tries to cover it up with her like coat, just a little.
Hey, well, that'll be my business here. Demir, are you interested in anything?
Not of the blacksmith variety. As we were walking over and like looking around, Demir was keeping her eyes out for like a jewelry shop or like clothing place, somewhere where you would be able to get that sort of stuff.
Roll a perception check.
Yes, right. Oh man, I really should have tested my dice before blindly rolling. That's 11.
All right. Let's see. The closest place that might have something. Do you stay in the bauble sector?
I think it was probably like as Demir was walking, like she didn't go out of our way. It was more just like on the way if she saw a shop.
Okay. Well, you see a place called Through the Looking Glass.
I'd like to stop in here.
Of course.
So she's gonna duck on in.
Okay. So you head inside, and there is lots of various magic glassware, including crystal balls, scrying eyes, and magic mirrors. And when you walk through the door, a little bell rings, and the elf man who is inside was looking into a crystal ball, kind of like jumps and like turns around, and then kind of looks at you both suspiciously.
Hello?
Hi, we're customers, maybe.
Who sent you?
Nobody.
We're here for on free
should
will.
Someone have sent us?
we'd need a letter or something. You can go get that.
No.
You
Are you looking to buy then?
I wanted to see what you had.
I have magical glassware, good for seeing the unseen. And you can see that he kind of like leans over and tries to catch your reflection in one of the mirrors, and then nods like, "All right, what can I help you with?"
Good. So she's not a changeling.
Well, I was hoping to see if perhaps you had any rings or magical baubles, anything of small use. Is that the scrying orb you're using there? Who are you
Yeah.
looking in on?
Couple crying away. I am really making sure that I am protecting myself and ensuring my own safety.
Oh, against somebody or many things in particular?
Roll persuasion.
Okay, hold on. Let me go to my persuasion. Okay, give this a shot. Ew, that's a 23.
23. Kind of looks at you and says, one of my competitors sent a demon after me.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
That's no good.
Do you perhaps need any aid with that?
We
No,
do have
I
experience.
have all the aid I need. And he kind of waves his hand at the various mirrors and crystal balls and various objects of divination.
I mean, certainly it seems as if you have your eye out, but do you need it destroyed?
You won't be able to find me here. I've changed everything to avoid it. Now I'm safe.
Aaron rummages around in his backpack for a second, and pulls out his amulet of proof against detection and location, which I'm not sure who knows he has.
He pulls out
and,
3 identical amulets that he's wearing.
and Aaron will nod and then put it back.
I mean, Demir has one too, so.
Mm-hmm. She inspired him to get one. In more ways than one.
You get the impression that this guy is just fucking paranoid. You're not even 100% there's actually a demon after him.
Yeah, it seems like it. If you, I mean, I'm interested in scrying as well. I have my own scrying focus, but if I'm certainly always in the market to see things. Do you have anything of interest?
Let me see what he has in stock. Let's see. He points out to you a few items. Let me pull up the list. Thank you for your patience.
It's all good.
He points out something called a robe of eyes, which is kind of creepy. It as exactly as described. It is it's sort of a blue bluish bluish robe with lots of various eye-like patterns on it. It lets you, he says it lets you see in all directions. He also suggests a pearl of power, which is in a little ring, and you can to use D&D speak the command word and regain one expended spell slot. He has a crystal ball of mind reading, but otherwise a potion of mind reading, and a helm of telepathy.
Oh, interesting. Huh. Oh, and Demir is very specifically not going to show him her crystal ball. Just, the demon guy who's nervous about demons probably shouldn't be shown the item that came from a demon.
When he pulls out the helm of telepathy, Aaron's gonna reach up and tap his ear and say, "I'm pretty sure we have that covered." And message to the guy.
He jumps when you message him and kind of hides the helm of telepathy.
Just out of curiosity, how much is the robe of eyes and the crystal ball?
Let me check. The robe of eyes cost 30,000 gold pieces.
Oh. Yep, that makes sense.
And what was the other one you're asking about?
The crystal ball.
Crystal ball. Let me see. That would be 100,000 gold pieces.
Okay, yep, that makes sense. Cool. I'm going to take note of those. And, just because you happen to seem like a fellow who knows a lot about avoiding peering eyes, aside from that amulet, is there anything else you would recommend to avoid being found?
He kind of hesitates and says, "You a caster?"
I am.
Private sanctum will do you good. Protects the space.
Good to know.
Makes it so you can't be targeted by outside eyes. Nothing can teleport in or out.
That will be very useful. Is that a spell you have a scroll to, or where would one go about finding that?
Might check with Wizards other spaces. I need all of the castings that I can get.
Of course. Well, thank you very much. Your shop is very interesting. Good luck with that demon problem.
Don't speak of
it.
Okay. All right, so you exit the shop, I assume.
Yeah. Well, that guy was a loon.
I can understand getting to that point.
I suppose.
With a demon after you, too. And Aaron shakes his head.
I would certainly hate to live my life like that. But that spell could be useful for our vampire problem, so good to keep an eye out.
All right.
So I do remember there was a magical tattoo shop somewhere in Avatix.
I was
I was like,
about to say, yeah, that sounds like a fun errand.
A fun errand.
let's go try and find it.
All right. So that is in the Hearth sector, so on the other side of town. So it takes you a little while to walk there, but you get there eventually. Roll investigation check.
We're doing a little. Demir is at least doing a little window shopping as we're going. Just kind of.
Oh, of course.
If we encounter any jewelry shops along the way, she is going to go into those.
Right.
But an investigation, that is a 19.
19.
25.
Holy shit!
Sweet. All right. So, this is a tattoo parlor towards the poorer side of town. It is closer towards the eastern wall. It looks kind of run down in a way, but the artwork on the side, displayed in the windows, is beautiful. And the sign, it says in a sort of loopy script, just an inkling.
Yes.
Yes. Zamir will go in.
All right. So inside, you can see a typical tattoo parlor, all the things you'd expect. But the person running it is a tiefling. They have purple skin, solid pink eyes, and white hair. They have a bit of an undercut, but their hair is long and tied in a loose braid that kind of goes to their waist. Although there are a few loose strands hanging in their face and back. They are wearing a tunic tank top that shows their full sleeve tattoos, it displays a picture from the perspective of someone looking through the foliage into the night sky. They have a couple scars here and there, but their frame is slender and wiry, and their horns are kind of wavy and pointed and upward.
Are you Master Hyacinth?
Well, I don't know if I can be called master, but I am Hyacinth. What can I do for today?
I have heard of your specialty. Demir will pull up her sleeve and show off her tattoo. I was wondering if you had ever seen anything like this.
They kind of move forward and lean and to inspect the tattoo, and they're very gentle, and they look at it and say, is that a pact tattoo?
I suppose it is.
I haven't seen many, but I've seen a couple. Are you looking to keep it or get rid of it?
Oh, keep it. Absolutely keep it.
All right, so
kind of funny. If you had asked me a few months ago, I would have said the opposite.
Well, to be honest, there's not much I can do to remove such things, but I could try to take away its power. But regardless, are you hoping to match it on the other side? What are you looking for?
Well, not for me, but This is silly. I'm hoping to reproduce it for someone else.
I'll need to make a couple of sketches, but I could definitely probably reproduce.
That's
I am required to ask, is this consensual?
For him taking the sketches or for
He's
tattooing?
asking if the other person is being tattooed consensually.
Oh, I believe so, yes. I mean,
all right.
Is Lish here? I don't think so.
No, he is not.
I mean, yes, I believe so. I can't ask him immediately, but he did agree.
Okay, good. Because I've had people come in and try to do like gang shit before, and I don't want that. I run a fine establishment here.
Are there gangs around here?
Mostly the king of cut purses.
Yes.
I try not to get in his way.
Aaron's face kind of steels up.
Probably a wise decision. I can agree with that.
I don't want any involvement in that shit, so that's good. Why don't you have a seat right there? I'll grab my sketchbook and I will see if I can take down the design.
Absolutely. And Demir will. And just kind of as they are sketching, just, have you been doing magical tattoos for a long time? Like what kind of magic can you infuse into it?
Well, I can
also
do
very
all
curious.
sorts of magic with them. I can well, it really depends on what the person's looking for. I can do various runes. I can create spell slot things that you can tap into. I can get well, for one person, they even had their spell book tattooed on them, a wizard, because they didn't want to risk losing a proper book or having it be damaged.
That's commitment.
But I can do all sorts of things. It really depends on what you're looking for.
What about protection?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I could. That would be probably closer to the torso area, but a nice design can make that happen.
Does the spell location of the tattoo correlate with what kind of spell can be put on?
Typically, once again, it sort of depends on what it is you're looking for. If, for example, if you're trying to store a spell into your skin, it is well, that can be really anywhere. If you're looking for something that will give you a little more, make you a little more persuasive, that would probably be along the face, around the eyes. You're looking for something that will make you a little healthier, something closer to the heart typically works best, that I've found.
Okay. What about keeping him alive?
Are you thinking like a death ward sort of thing?
Yes.
That can be almost anywhere.
Good. Good to know. How much would that be?
Let me pull open my document. You guys are just making me run all over the place today.
Yeah. Sorry.
We're giving you a mental workout in favor of like a cardio one.
I would say about check. Fourth level spell. That would probably be around 1,000 gold pieces, maybe more, depends on how long you want it to last. Because typically, spell of that caliber would be around 1,000 gold pieces to only cast it once. But if you want something a little more longer lasting, it would be closer to 50,000, more expensive, to make sure that it doesn't disappear.
Good to know. Good to keep in mind. Okay. And Demir will just kind of chit chat while they're sketching her tattoo, and she'll as they're doing their little sketches, she'll kind of be like, oh no, the line goes yeah, like that. Because she's done Lish's henna tattoo, so she's pretty familiar with the pattern.
Yeah, they're very good at what they're doing. But you can see that they're quite a talented artist, and they seem happy at the prospect of their art.
And for his part, spends the time just watching, seeing if he can, pick up any sketching tips.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clear that Hyacinth is a professional, and they're happy to chat with you about sketching.
Yeah.
So
they're also very good looking, I must say. Very queer.
Got that impression.
I mean, the pink eyes alone has Demir flirting up a storm.
God, yeah.
Yeah, I made a tiefling, and I'm like, I can make a tattoo artist, and I'm gonna make them the queerest fucking tiefling ever.
I love it. Yeah, so once they're done with the sketches, obviously I think we'll have to get back to you, but should I take this, or will you hold on to it?
I will keep the sketch and keep it handy for when you do return, so that I can make sure I studied it properly.
Yes.
Tattoos do tend to be pretty permanent.
That is true, although mine has changed quite a bit since I first got it.
That can happen.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. Looking forward to your return.
Absolutely. And Demir will head on out with Aaron. Thank you for indulging my shopping list. Aaron.
Of course. Glad. But we're getting something done.
Did you get some good sketching tips?
I think so. Deal pensively and say, though honestly, since it just seems to have a much clearer vision of what they're about than I do. I think that helps a lot.
I think you're still finding yourself, finding your voice, as it were, as an artist.
Yeah. I'll find something someday.
Well, I look forward to it. Your creations have been very nice so far.
Beams.
Did you ever finish painting that sign for the Ook shop?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Did you ever finish painting that bookshop sign? You had said you were, or am I misremembering? Didn't Aaron volunteer to paint the oak shop? The books with the ook? Yeah. Okay.
But he'll oh yeah, give me and he'll like shuffle around and like pull out just a huge just stack of papers and just be turning them over. Just in the middle of the street. He's scattering shit everywhere. But he'll eventually emerge from the pile. Waving being it. Oh yeah, I mean it's something, I guess.
Can I see?
He'll pass it on over.
Demir will take a look at the sign and
I mean it's done up like like it's all got wood grain, passing down it. And as you look closer at that, notice that it's actually little like curling script, not really saying anything, but just being letters.
this is beautiful, Aaron.
I had an idea for it.
Well, do you think we should bring it to its new home?
His face goes, full blush, and he's like, I mean, if you think I don't want to be the one to say it's ready.
I think it looks perfectly ready to be hung up, displayed to the world.
Okay. And then you like surround and kind of realizes that his stuff's everywhere, and it's like, okay, just give me 1 sec.
Demir will help him pick up everything that he has scattered as well. All right. Off we go. It's just Aaron's day. Aaron's with Aaron.
All right. He's, there's still a spring in his step, but he's also noticeably, walking behind Demir now. All right, we doing this.
Demir will happily lead the way.
So you head all the way back to the other side of the city again.
Oh God.
We're having a great day.
We're really getting all our steps in.
The two ooks run by the old tiefling woman with the big glasses and the kind of hunch.
Hello, madame.
Oh, hello, dear. Were you looking for some books?
I mean, yes, but also we were here, gosh, what, a month ago? And
might be right.
Well, Demir is going to look over to Aaron.
Oh. Well, you mentioned I'm being out, and I didn't know if this would be free stepping or not, but I did paint something for you. And then he'll
Oh, thank you, dear.
He'll pass it through.
Oh, that's lovely. How much do I owe you for it?
Oh, nothing. Just thought it might help out around the place.
Oh, well, I can't give you nothing. Just a moment. And she kind of shuffles off.
Aaron will turn to Demir like, oh.
You
getting
are an artist. You do deserve to be paid for your work.
I mean, it was nothing.
That is not nothing, Aaron. And your time is not nothing either.
Ah.
Demir is, while the woman is looking for payment, she is going to look around the shop and see if there are any new books or anything that would be immediately interesting to Levy.
All right. Let's see. The old woman, Yafaris, comes back to you, Erin. She has 2 books. She says, "Oh, what's more interesting to you? Are you more interested in the Storm Peak Mountain history, or are you more interested in poetry?"
Aw. He'll say, "Oh, I suppose the history."
Okay, then, and she hands you a book, and it is titled "The History of the Storm Peak Mountain."
All right, adding that into my inventory.
Do you have any new or interesting titles in?
And what are you interested in, dear?
Well, I'm shopping for someone else. She's into history and knowledge and just magic, dreams, anything really. She's a bit of a nerd.
Well, I've got a few things that might be interesting. And she shuffles off and then returns. This one here is called the Witch Cults of Northern Alperin, and it's about the infernal cults that were stamped out there. I've got one here that's more about an adventure called The Way of the End Name. There's this one here, which is called The Song of the Skyans, which is about a saga of war. And I've got the Path of Waves, which is more about the tri-continent. She just prattles on a few books in the way that old women tend to do.
Actually, do you happen to have any books about Baba Yaga?
I might, actually. And let me see. Nope, that is the wrong page.
She mentioned Witch's Coven and
Says the witch cult of
Witch Cult.
of Northern Alperin.
Yeah, but
she returns with a old book, clearly secondhand, that says the title of or the cover is dusty, and you can see the title that says the cults of Baba Yaga.
Oh, yes, I will take that. Let's take the witch cult.
Okay.
Some more of those adventuring books. Is there, I suppose you wouldn't happen to have anything on Auril or the Feywild?
No books on the Winter Queen. Just a moment. Please make note of the books you're buying, by the way, so I can write you proper descriptions of them later.
Yes.
Because I'm losing track quickly.
Sorry.
No mortal mind was meant to hold this much information.
Truly.
Okay. She returns with a book called let's see, Ice Priest.
Ice Priest. I will take that. Okay, so that is 4 books. How much?
Looking it up. That would be about 20 gold, let's say. Not bad
I
at all.
will happily pay that. And thank you very much.
You both come back at any time.
Oh, we'll be sure to drop by.
Absolutely. I'm sure my friends would love this shop.
Oh, well, I worked hard on my collection here.
That shows.
As you exit the shop, that is where we will call session for the day.
Ooh.
Awesome stuff.
Avery, send me the names of the books you landed on, and then I will write descriptions of them.
Yeah. Awesome.
I would also like to reiterate the creepy kid. Mwah!
Very
Oh
well
my God,
done.
yeah.
It's fun.
Making
like
my
her.
skin crawl. And that's a compliment.
Thank you.
No, she was sweet.
Yeah, you could fuck off, fake person.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Anyway,
Tough words there for
I can't wait for Zoda
Muppet.
to actually. I can't wait for Zoda to actually read her own notes that she's been taking over the next in-game day and go like, wait a minute.
It's funnier the longer it lasts.
Oh yeah, no, she still has like absolutely no clue who Lish really is, but she does have the puzzle pieces to go like, hang on a second, he's just in the Feywild.
I'm connecting these 2 points. No, you're not.
She does actually have 8 wisdom despite her friggin' 15 investigation bonus. So I think it's fun to give her some dumb moments.
Difference between book smart versus common sense.
Exactly. She's really
makes,
intelligent, but like me, she's fairly intelligent, but also like me, she still makes bad decisions and doesn't
she makes a
connect
lot
dots.
she makes a lot of notes but can't connect any of them.
I mean, that's why she takes notes, so that she can connect them physically.
Anyway, thank you for playing, guys.
Thank you for DMing as always.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you, thank you, thank you.
See you guys next week.
See you next time.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.